15 years ago, we convinced our bosses that it was a great idea to let us paddle 16 days down the river. That was sort of the impetus to the start of the paddle trail. Folks called us and said, hey, we want to do what you do. We want to camp along the river. We want to spend a night enjoying the French Broad Paddle Trail, which didn't exist at the time. So we put that together with private landowners, public land, where you could now connect through access points and camping over 150 miles of the French Broad River and really create a world-class paddle trail.
The French Broad River is one of the region's oldest rivers. Actually, one of the oldest rivers in the world for that matter. And the Appalachian Mountains through which it flows through are also some of the oldest mountains in the world. The Mountain True is one of several partners that help lead the French Broad Paddle Trail. We're one of many amongst other nonprofits, state and local governments, local businesses, and even volunteers as well. It takes all of us working together to do stewardship and fundraise and create opportunities for access, camping.
RiverLink was a founding partner in developing the paddle trail system. We're a land trust, so we conserve lands that are important to protecting the river. And we have our watershed health program, which is focused on raising awareness around water quality issues and empowering residents to take action to help prevent water quality issues in the French Broad.
Conserving Carolina is your local land trust. We host a grassroots volunteer organization that is locally specific to Transylvania County and the upper French Broad River. These folks make the effort to steward the river by monitoring its status for log jams and quality of our existing river accesses as far as cleanliness and accessibility.
Buncombe County leaders are sounding the alarm about what we're expecting from this storm. Historic flooding is anticipated right along the French Broad and the Swannanoa rivers, and they are asking everyone in the Fletcher and the Biltmore Village areas to go ahead and self-evacuate and take this storm seriously.
I stood on the bridge down here during the flood and in the Swannanoa and sort of watched the floodwaters rise. And there's a line on the building that shows the 1916 flood, and I thought, okay, well, this is bad, but maybe we're going to be okay. Came back a few hours later, and the floodwaters were 18 inches above the worst flood this community's ever had. The river really was hit hard. I mean, there was a lot of oil, a lot of gas, a lot of sources of pollution, and it'll take time, but I do think we'll get there. We're out here in the Asheville River District today. Was decimated by floodwaters. There's trash and pollution everywhere, but we got an army of folks out here today to start the cleanup. The thing I love about rivers is rivers will come back. I mean, rivers will heal themselves. If we do the right thing and we don't continue to add pollution to the rivers, the French Broad will come back. The French Broad will be, again, a place where you can go take your boat and enjoy a day or two on the river. This is a beautiful stretch of river, perfect for canoe camping and other ways to recreate around the river. So we thought if we could get folks out enjoying all these stretches of the river that weren't being used a lot, we could generate, a base of support for protecting the river.
Club de Exploradores is a program that Fine Outdoors created to invite kids in the middle school to the Pisgah National Forest and surrounding public lands. The French Paddle Trail has been a great addition to our adventures. It has been a place of discovery. I had one participant last year. She just sat there, took a deep breath, and she looked at me and she's like, wow, we live in paradise. Like, I didn't know that this was here. And I'm like, yes, and it's free and you can access it anytime.
All the towns are along the river. They all recognize what's going on. And I know from outfitters down in Hot Springs, they're very vested in having that as part of the experience along the French Broad River.
Before it was a paddle trail, you couldn't cite jobs and economic impact. Now it's an important resource to protect environmentally, but also economically. And you've seen new outfitters pop up in stretches of the river that are putting people on the river, providing jobs. It really is something that I think we all can come to from an environmental standpoint, but from an economic standpoint of, providing this economic activity.
As an outfitter, we offer full shuttle service all the way to Asheville and back. We also offer canoe rentals and kayak rentals. Typically, families that are trying to plan their trip, ask what kind of amenities there are along the way. So how do they prepare for their food, their water supplies, what the campsites offers. And the paddle trail campsites, a little luxurious for being on a paddle trail. They have really nice amenities that make it a great experience.
The best way to plan a trip on the French Broad Paddle Trail is first to check out our website, frenchbroadpaddle.com. We have all kinds of information related to the river itself in terms of its character and difficulty, access points, but it also has information for privately run campsites that you can book through their websites too.
We put people on the water of all ages, people that have a lot of experience, and folks that have never paddled before. The river's going to do most of the work for you. Just steer and enjoy the trip.
If you are on the river, obviously you want to leave no trace, so pack it out, pack it in.
We really talk about being respectful to the wildlife, being aware of where we are. Definitely apply a lot of leave no trace, being very aware and mindful of living it better.
Spending a night along the banks of the river, all the campsites are private. They're really just for you and your group. I mean, it really is a backcountry experience that is hard to put a price tag on, and it's in most people's backyard. It's come a long way, and it's a resource that we should enjoy and use. Once you get out there and do it, you're going to be really glad you did.